In this video, we're just going to be creating this detail view and finishing up that. We did the plan and all the callouts in the previous videos. So the first thing I want to do is find that pier detail and rename it Frost Wall Detail. Then I'll double click on that frost wall detail, and I'm going to edit the boundary of this undisturbed earth. And I'm just going to erase the profile the way it is right now and draw it in again. So this undisturbed earth is going to come down from around here, wrap around the bottom edge of, this is where the undisturbed earth is. So I'll just kind of go up here, and then we'll make that a closed loop shape right there. Now I do want these lines on this side to be invisible, so I'll make those invisible lines, and then I want the lines above to be visible. So I hit the checkbox, and that's what we get. This should be filled in with clean fill, and as a matter of fact, I should make this a little bit more correct here, where I should add another line segment to make that a little bit wider opening at the bottom. That's better. So this area right here should be filled with clean fill. So I want to go back to annotate and region, filled region, and make this a clean fill region. Then I can go ahead and trace what I have for line work here and close that. So I've got filled. So this undisturbed earth actually needs to be put down here, pointing to the undisturbed earth. And inside this area, because this is a crawl space, I would like to show that that's a grade line we can get rid of here. I'd like to show that there's some drainage in here. So we're going to use a masked region in this case, and I'm going to use a circle. And I'll set the circle to a radius of 2, which is a diameter of 4. So those are 4-inch diameter PVC drain pipes. When you hit the checkbox, you'll see that that will mask that area with those 2 circles. Those should be thick lines, so I'm going to select them. I'm going to edit boundary and select them, switch them to a wide line type, and then hit the checkbox. And then when we look at the line weights, that's what it ought to look like. And I just want to nudge it over just a little bit. Technically down here there should be some crushed stone, and so if you wanted to add that crushed stone you could do the same thing, filled region. I'm not going to bother with it for this, and you don't have to for this. Okay. Oh, I already had done the masked region. This should be a thick line as well, so let me edit that boundary, select those lines this time, and make sure that those are set to the correct line weight. Alright, so the rest of this is just our callouts. So I want to point to our perimeter drain pipes, 4-inch perimeter, D.P. for drain pipe is fine. And if that went outside of your crop region, let's add a little bit more space here for a crop for annotation. And we want to add, and we can move this in a little bit closer too. I also want to add a second arrow. So I want to select that and add an arrow and point to the other drain pipe as well. This is going to have the welded wire fabric in it, just like we did with the slab detail. So I would create a detail line, put it at around 1 inch up from the bottom, select it, right click, go into override graphics and view by element, and I want to find the dash dot line type. Then I'd select that dash dot line type, and I'd also want that to show up as a thick line. Okay, so then I can put in my call out for my welded wire fabric and the thickness of my slab. So this is 4-inch concrete slab with W1.4 by W1.4 welded wire fabric, at bottom quarter. So I'll add a second arrow on this side too and point to the welded wire fabric with one arrow and the actual slab with the other. And let's see, oh, here is that missing gap that we have here, and that's where our mud sill needs to go. So for the mud sill, we go to Component, pick out the 2x6, and use the Tab key on your, or the space bar rather, on your keyboard to place that component. And let me think if there's anything else that we want to put in here. Oh, this should say clean fill, so I'll make that with out an arrow. And we have to put some dimensions in here. So our dimensions would be from the outside to edge of wall to edge of wall to outside. And I would replace these two numbers here with EQ and EQ. That way, this could be 4 inches, or it could be because the width of the footing can be 2.5 times the width of the wall. So 2.5 times would be 2 times would be 16. 2.5 times would be 20. So that means that these numbers could be a little bit different, but we want to make sure that the wall is centered or equal in both positions. Now, there should be a keyway here. We can either draw in a keyway or you can put in a piece of rebar. So to put in the piece of rebar, I can draw a detail line, select the detail, make it a wide line type, and turn it into a center line. Or a hidden line, either one would work. And then we'd call that out using our text. And number for rebar at 6 feet - 0 inches on center. And up here we would have an anchor bolt, and there is a detail component we could use for that anchor bolt. Let's see if it's already loaded in here. Anchor bolt. There it is. It's a 5-inch diameter. That's plenty. And if we hit the space bar, I think we just want to put it in here and then we'll mirror it. So I'm going to put the anchor bolt here, select it, mirror the anchor bolt, and I'll mirror it from the center. And then I'm going to get rid of the original. And that anchor bolt is a little bit big, but we can call it out. It's just being used here as to represent as a symbol. So I would put in 1.5 by 12-inch AB. And that is a fully annotated frost wall. Oh, I'm forgetting one more dimension. From the top of the frost wall to the grade to the bottom of the frost wall, we would add our dimensions there. And I'm going to replace these with text, I believe. Yeah, so I'm going to select this and then just hit replace with and 6 inches minimum. And then I'm going to replace this with 4 feet - 0 inches minimum. And then that takes care of our detail. So let's take a look at it on the sheet. So we go to our sheet, foundation plan. It's not really positioned very well. Let's move it up a little bit. Move the title down a little bit, and that looks great. So then we're done with our final foundation, video, and detail.